Hey everybody, welcome back to Dragon Art Crafts. I'm sorry it's been so long since I posted a video again. I'm still working graveyard shifts and things are just going a little bit weird right now because I'm trying to get everything situated. But anyway, I wanted to show you guys how to attach a finished project to a piece of soft leather. And I know the lighting's not very great and I apologize for that. I've been doing some mild organizing and some decorating, but this is the armband that I tried to get video of finishing, but I didn't get the chance to do that. But I've just finished attaching it to this piece of soft dyed red leather. It is very soft and it's got just a little bit of stretch in it, but it's not too much. But I'm going to show you how to attach a piece of beaded jewelry to a piece of leather. Now this one I just started stitching. I only did the one side though, so it's hard to see, but there's the stitching there. So the tools you're going to need is either a hole punch at the smallest setting or a leather awl as small as you have. This is the one that I have that's small. You'll need a pair of scissors. You'll need, this is what I use, but you can try and find something that works better, is some 006 inch black wildfire thread from Beadalon. So, and I'm using black because it camouflages in with the rest of the beadwork well. So, and you're going to need preferably a leather needle. This is the smallest one that I have, but most leather needles are going to have like a slightly flattened point. I know it's hard to see this one, but it's there. But anyway, you're going to thread your needle, and I've already got mine threaded. And you're going to bring your ends as evenly as possible. And I've already situated mine to the best I can. You're going to go ahead and tie a couple of knots in the end. I can get my fingers to work. It's late. It's like after 11 o'clock at night right now on a Sunday night. So tonight's my night off, as I'm sure you guys have noticed, or I'd be at work by now. But so far so good on working graveyards. I'm slowly but surely getting back into the rhythm of things after working a week in day shift in produce, covering for the produce manager while he went on vacation over Easter. So that was kind of a interesting little thing. But I got by it, which was great. So, but now it's just going to take me another week to get back to my original sleeping schedule for me to be able to work nights a little bit better. So, but I did about 4 knots. So that's roughly about what you want it to be. You want the knot to be big enough to where it won't go through the hole. And what I prefer to do, and this is from trial and error, is I like to do the end parts first. And hopefully you can see this, but I've already got some holes punched in to this one. And all I have to do is just line everything up. So let me get my camera adjusted and let's see if we can't show you how this works. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay guys, so again, here's this finished project that I've already, done. It's not quite completely finished. I still have some fringing to do. But this is what your project should be once you have it stitched on. And unfortunately, this is the best angle I can give you guys. So, but again, here's the finished project here. So we're going to set that one aside. And we're going to bring this one back. Okay, so this is the side right here. So I'm going to flip it over. This is the end I'm going to attach now, since I've already got this end attached. So the first thing you want to do is flip everything over so you can kind of see where your holes are. Now, if you can't see them right off the get-go, take your awl and go back through them. Because basically what I did is I just kind of did an initial little poke into the leather, and then all I have to do is just go back through it. Hold on. There we go. So, this. And almost done. And one more. Okay, there we go. So now you should kind of be able to start seeing some of these. But I'm going to have to go and charge my thing, so I'll be back in a little while. Okay guys, we're back. Sorry it took so long. I had to charge up my iPod so I could do the rest of this recording. But here's the project we're working on, and like I said, you're gonna repuncture your holes here, and then you're gonna go from the back. So we're gonna flip this back over again, and hopefully you'll be able to have better eyes than me trying to find the holes, because you want to start with the first one, and I gotta repoke again. There we go. So I repoked with the awl, and the problem with this kind of leather is that you lose the holes really quick. But sometimes you can find them. Okay, and you're going to try and lead your needle in. And then you're going to pull it through. Now this is starting from the back. You always want to start from the back because you want your knots to be behind where your work is. Now I know some people who work with leather, they go like halfway through the leather and they hide the thread that way. I unfortunately don't know exactly how to do that and be comfortable doing it. So this is how I am doing it. But now that you've got your needle through your first hole, you're going to flip it back over so you can see where your work is. And you're going to go right here by your first bead. You're going to try and slide it in between the beads just underneath the thread. I'm trying not to do this off camera. And again, I'm sorry, but the angle's kind of horrible, but I'm going to try and bring this a little closer. So you see where I brought my needle up right there? And you're going to pull it all the way through. Try and not catch your thread on anything else. And then you're going to pull it up just like that. And it'll get more secure the further down you go. But this is just the first initial hole. This is the beginning part. So now what you'll do is you're going to bring your work so you can see it, and you're going to find your next hole, doing the same thing, except you're going to go away from you this time. And you're going to try and find that hole and go through like this. And then you've got that second stitch in. Now you're going to notice that it's going to be wibble wobble and everything, but that's because you just have the ends going in. You'll do the sides later, and I'll have to punch holes in those later. So now I'm going to come back and punch another hole, or re-punch through an old hole, so I can find that hole again in the back, so I can go through it like so, and just do the same thing 3 more times, depending on however many times you punched holes in the end. So I did 6. This one I did about 5. I did about 5 holes on that side. And back through beadwork, just on the edge, because you're just wanting the edges down. You're just wanting to secure it, because you're going to need to make sure that you have room when we do the fringes later to give yourself enough room to do that. So you can still get your thread through the creases. Or past the thread bridges. Okay, and then I'm going to punch a hole again, like that. I'm going to take my needle, I'm going to go through, and just go through the leather at first, because I need to. Now here's the interesting part. You will come up with knots on occasion. Normally they're not that hard to take apart. They're usually pretty easy. Okay, so that's just through the leather itself. Now I gotta come back here because I have to make sure I give myself enough lead to get that last corner attached. So, and try not to poke yourself because that hurts. Okay, now we're on the final hole. So, the same thing you're going to do now, but in reverse. Because you want to end in the back. So you're going to come through this corner right here, and you're going to go through the hole, just like that. Sorry if I did it off camera. Make sure your thread's not tangled. You pull it all the way through just like so. Okay, now that you've ended on the back, which is where you want to end every time. You want to start on the back and you want to end on the back. So now, if I can get these two strings out of the way. So we've gone through 6 holes on this project. Yours may vary, depends on the size you use. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of tie-offs. So you want to give yourself, I want to say about 2 or 3 inches or so of tail, and then you're going to take your tails and you're going to split them apart, and you're going to do what they call a surgeon's knot. You're going to wrap your threads around each other twice and then pull, and then you're going to trade your threads and you're going to do the same thing. There's one, and I think I just did one. Let me try it again. So there's one, and there's 2. I try and do about 3 of these, just because it's more secure for me that way. So there's my 3rd one. And then of course you're just going to take your scissors, and you get as close down to the knot as you can get without cutting the knot itself, and trim your thread. And you want to do the same thing on the opposite side. Just trim your thread. And then if you want to keep your scraps, go for it. I don't. I throw mine away. But it should look pretty close to how this is. Right there. So, that's how you do the ends. Now, for the sides, since I boo-booed and didn't do my pre-measurement beforehand, I'm going to have to just kind of judge it, really. So, what I think I'll do is I'll do another video of how you do the sides. So I have to tinker with at least one of these. And then, when I get the chance to, we're going to go ahead and do the fringe part. And I will show you how to do the fringe. I'll do the little one first, because the fringe on both of these is going to be just a little bit different, because I put different focal points on the fringes for both of them. This one usually gets 3 feathers, and then this one will get a crystal and a couple of other things on it. So, you know, I'll have to just find everything and get it finagled. So, and when we go to do the fringe, depending on what you use for your base color, you're going to need a lot of base color, because what we're going to do is we're going to bring the fringe down to a point in the middle. So, I don't know if we're going to start directly at the corners. I think we might start a little further in. I'd have to look at the older pictures that I have when I first did this project without the leather backing and see how that works. So, that's how that's going to go, and I'll get my camera switched over here in a minute, and we'll just have a little chat. Okay guys, now that I've showed you a little bit on how to stitch your beadwork onto a piece of leather, like I said, everybody does it a little bit differently, but that's just how I've been doing it recently. Again, I wanted to apologize for not posting a video in a while. Like I said, work's been weird. And then there's just some other life stuff going on. With me working graveyards now, it's a lot harder for me to do a lot of things that I want to do because I'm sleeping most of the day. So we're just going to have to see how things work out. And, you know, like I say, I keep trying to do better, but with how my shifts are and whatnot, I'm not going to be able to do as many videos as I hoped I was going to. I originally started this while I was out of work for 6 months, so it was more or less kind of a thing to do, but I want to do better. I want to do better for you guys. So please just be patient with me and let me get my act together here, and we'll see what we can do. So, but if you have any questions, comments, just post them down below in the comment box, or you can message me on Facebook. I'll be sure to put that link down in the description box. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that share button. And if you want any notifications as to when new videos are posted, please hit the subscribe button and the little bell just to the right of it, and you'll be notified of when I post a new video. So take it easy, guys, and again, I'm sorry these are so sporadic, but I'm going to try my best to do better. So you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'm probably going to go to bed soon so I can do some stuff tomorrow morning. Take it easy, guys. Have a good one. Bye! Hey guys, welcome back to Dragonheart Crafts. Today's video is me going to show you how to put on grommets or eyelets or whatever you want to call these funny things into leather. Now, I know there's a lot of videos on how to do this, but this is just what I have. So, a while back when I was at the craft store, I don't know if it was in Rock Springs or Idaho, but they had some stuff on clearance, and I was able to get a package, and this is just what's left. This is just the packaging itself, of 5 little containers of 1/8, see if it'll say it, about 1/8 inch eyelets and a tool to set it. And then also, I had also gotten something called a silent setter, and that's what this mat is from. But the silent setter is just this little funny device right here, and you've got these little bits that go inside of it. So this is one of the bits, and then there's these other ones as well. And you've got 3 different sizes of each. You've got a micro, you've got a small, and a large. Or they call the small a standard. So that's what those are. And then same for the eyelet setting stuff. So these are just the hole punches. And I'm sorry if I go off camera, I'm using a different angle. So, but I haven't been using the setter because it's weird and somewhat awkward. But I'm using these eyelets, and this is just a mixture, but I'm using a lot of these like purpley red ones. So, but there's 5 different tins, and while I was working on the earlier set, it shook some of these ones open, so I gotta fix all these, but that's what those are. So what you're gonna need is you're gonna obviously need some place to hammer, or use your rawhide mallet or rubber mallet or whatever you have. I have a rawhide one. And then you're of course going to need your piece of work that you're going to be putting the eyelets in. As you can see, I've already preset the holes for the eyelets, and then this is the side that's already done. So then you're going to want to flip your work over, and I'm going to try and do this so you guys can see as best as possible. So I'm just going to slide the eyelets out of the way, and I'm using tweezers to kind of help set everything, just because my fingers are too big. But this set that I'm using came with the eyelets and the little washers to go with them. So I just set the eyelet underneath, and I'm going to place the washer right over top on the back. And then I'm going to put my little setter down, rawhide mallet, couple taps, remove, take a look at the next one, and I'm going from corner to corner and then into the center of each one. So we set the eyelets, get the washer in, couple taps, couple more taps just to be on the safe side. Then do the same thing for slot number 3. I'm trying to get these washers to set so that way the bowed end, see if I can show you guys how these are, but there's like a bump in it, and then it's kind of it's, I don't know, instead of it being completely flat, it's curved on one side, and then it's, you know, inverted on the other side. So, set it, get the setting tool, couple taps. Sorry, my dog is having a fit right now because I'm making so much noise, even though I have 2 doors closed. Had 2 doors closed. Okay, and then for the last one, okay, and then just check everything out. Make sure everything's placed where you want it. Oh, I got a different color in this one. Oh well. Didn't realize I had a different shade in there. I thought I had all the same shade. But that's okay. A little oddball never hurts. But that's how you set eyelets, or the way I set them. And with all the tools and stuff. But this is the little silent setter mat that I got in my little kit. And I got this little container of the eyelets. This one doesn't have any washers though. It's just the eyelets themselves. But the other set has the eyelets and the washers. But that was the necklace I showed you. This is the bracelet, or the armband that I made. And I've gotten all the eyelets set into it, and then all I have to do now is just get the fringing down. And I'm still trying to decide which side I want to put the fringe on, because I want to cover any imperfections that's in the leather with the fringe. With this one, I'm going to use this side. I'm going to cover it from that side. So, and as soon as I get ready to do that fringe part, I will try and get a video posted. I have another one I need to get posted, so future self hopefully will remember to do that. But that's how you set the eyelets into your project. Again, that's how I do it with the tools that I have. If you have any questions, comments, or requests, please post them down in the video description or in the comment boxes below. If you want to see more videos, please hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell that's just to the right hand side of it, and you'll get notifications on when new videos are posted. Again, I'm still trying to work on getting better at making and posting videos, but with me working night shifts now and working pretty near every other night and then some, it's getting weird, and with summer coming up, we're going to start getting busier, so we'll see how things go as time goes by. So, I shall leave you with, you know, happy thoughts and good luck with the project. Thanks, guys. Hey everybody, welcome back to Dragonheart Crafts. I know I'm really horrible at getting videos posted, but here, after a little while, there should be a whole bunch of them coming on the channel as soon as possible. So anyway, this is my dog Kayla. She had to come and say hi again. She just wants attention right now. But anyway, today I'm planning on showing you guys how to do the fringing on these kinds of projects, at least the way that I did it. So this is the finished armband. But this was all the fringing that I had done, and then I added the feathers at the ends, and then on the back is just some like really soft, like suede leather straps that I just threaded through the grommets that we put on in the last video I did. And all I gotta do now is just have somebody help me tie this onto my arm, and it will be my armband for this year. So we're going to do the necklace this time, and I've already started a little bit of it. So this is what the fringing should start to look like right here. And all you're doing is, I started with 2. You can start with 1, but I always start with at least 2 on the end. And I just add 1 bead as I continue to go through until I reach the center. And you want your beads already laid out. which we have set out right here. So there's my black beads here, my red ones here, and then I got my orange ones still in the bag. So that's what we've got for there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up so you guys can all see it, and we'll just kind of work it out from there. So give me a few minutes, guys. Okay, guys, sorry for the temporary movement, but I'm trying a new setup at this precise moment, so I'm going to do my best to stay as far on camera as I can, but if I go off, I apologize. So, but this is where we're at right now. I've already done enough to do 10 beads on my last string. So now we're into the red spot. So you start with, hold on, got fuzz on my needle. So I'm going to take one red bead, so that counts as one, and then you do 10 of your base color. Slide that over some. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, let's see, 9, 10, 11. I took that other bead off because it was a little too big. So then you slide your beads all the way to where you want it to rest, which is going to be right here. Then you pull one bead down like this, and then you're going to go back through the other 10. And you're going to go back through that same hole that you dropped the first time. And this is where it gets to be difficult. Trying to get back through that original space. So, I'm going to pull all the way through. And what this last bead is going to do is it's going to stop the thread from coming completely undone. And then just want to kind of tug everything tight. So there you have another line of fringe right there. And then to start your next row, you go over and you go down through your other threads. Try to not go through the leather or it's not going to sit properly. This is the really difficult part. Because the needle doesn't like to cooperate sometimes, and it tries to go between other threads, which is what you don't want it to do. I gotta go off camera for this, guys, sorry. Okay, so now I got my needle through. So I'm going to pull my needle back through and out. And now I'm ready to start my next line. So there's that. Now, granted that these beads don't exactly line up with the row, that's okay. Sorry, I had a message. Anyway, so now we're ready to start the next row. Sorry if I was off the camera there a little bit too. So now we can do another red bead here if we want, which I can probably do since that's technically what I did on the center half of this project. Sorry for it being so. There we go. So there's where those two red beads are right there. So I can do that with this as well, which I'll probably do. So that'll be 12 beads this time. So we'll do another red, and then we'll do 11 of the black. One, let's see, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and if you think you're off, just recount. I count mine by twos. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and there's 12. Okay, and you always start with the color that you're wanting on first, because that's how everything's going to flip when you get them attached. Otherwise, you're going to have all kinds of screwiness and you're going to need to take it all apart again. And then we are on that line again. And that's how you attach the fringing. Now, later on, what I'm going to do is in the 3 most center spots is I'm going to attach these onto the fringe. So the dragon will be in the center, and then these two will be on either side. Trying to make it so you guys can still see these, but this one's a little, you could say it's a dragon claw or an eagle claw, but I'm going to say it's an eagle, you know, like a dragon claw, and it's just holding onto a black marble. And then I've got this pewter dragon pendant, and then just this quartz crystal point. So those are going to go in this section, and this section here. So that's where those 3 are going to go. Now, what I'll try and do is, like, at the end of this little video series that I'm currently working on, is I'm going to show the pictures of what these were when I first did them and what they look like now. So that way you guys can see the difference of how these changed and how they just kind of meshed. Now, granted, the pictures of the original versions aren't going to have the best lighting because I did these originally when I was in California. And now I'm doing these when I'm back in my hometown of Pinedale, Wyoming, which is where I was raised for most of my childhood life. And we're still in my current craft office, but as you'll remember from a prior video that I am moving in with my grandmother, and we do have our shed, and I'm working on getting stuff moved, but I ran into a little fork in the road. I'm not going to get into detail, but as soon as this current fork in the road has gone back to my normal path, things should go back to moving somewhat smoothly. We'll just have to see how everything goes. So as soon as I get everything else all taken care of and squared away life-wise, then I should be able to do a little bit more recording, because I'll be able to use that new storage shed as like a makeshift craft space. Some of the other crafters that I listen to or talk to on a organization, like craft room organization site on Facebook, excuse me, they do what they call she sheds. 4, and so that's kind of what this is going to be, is like a little she shed. But it's also going to be a storage shed for not just my stuff, but for some of my grandmother's stuff as well, because her and I are planning on sharing it, but I'll have a little hideout in case I need it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Hooray! Okay, so now that we're out of the red space, I'm going ahead and going straight on, continuing with the black, which is the base color, which is basically going to be the whole way through, is there's going to be black. But right in these 2 spaces here is where there's orange going to be. So, but this is just what's going on at this precise moment. And sorry guys, I don't mean to go off camera. Like I said, this is a new kind of camera angle that I'm working on. I'm actually thinking of having my dad kind of help me out with another camera setup in the shed if it's manageable. My dad used to be a carpenter for a construction company that still does work out here in Pinedale, but he now works for the oil companies and he does the meter reading on the machines and stuff. So, and then we're gonna go starting on the next row, trying to go back through all of the prior threads, trying to make sure I don't go through the leather as well. And I'm also trying to not go through such a thin section of the leather that it punctures it. But this is the side, you know, you can see the difference in the sides, you know, where this side was a little more cut down than I wanted, and then this side's just fine. But I'm trying to cover up the, you know, the mistake of what I did. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I've done 12 strings, and I'm working on string 13, which is going to be 14 beads, where this one was 13. So basically we're counting up from 2 to whatever the center is going to be. And as my lines get longer, I will be using a much longer needle. This one's a 5-inch needle, ladies and gentlemen, where this one here is like a 3.5 to 4 inch. So you can definitely see the significant difference in lengths of these needles here. But this is the one that I very rarely use. It's more or less for projects like this, where as you continue on with the fringing and the fringing gets longer, you need the longer needle in order to support the amount of beads you have. So, but this happens to be one of my new favorite needles now, along with my regular needle that I use all the time for all these kinds of projects. So the 5-inch one is probably going to be one that I use in a lot larger projects that I'm planning on doing. But I might start those on a bead loom and then go back through the edge parts of it in square stitch. But we will just have to wait and see what happens. So, but anyway, I just mainly wanted to show you guys how to continue on, you know, how you get your fringing on. And then, you know, of course, with most anything, what you want to do is you kind of want to start with a knot at the end. So that's basically what I did, was I just knotted, you know, a little knot here in the end, and then all I have to do is with this tail here is take one of my shorter needles, which are kind of like this one, is I'll just take one of my shorter needles and attach it to the tail and then thread it through the beads if I can. So we'll just see how that goes later on. But you want to do that kind of after everything else is already done, so that way it's just one last little touch up you do at the end. So, but I'm hoping this comes out a lot better than when I did it the first time. It's just taking me a lot longer to do it because of me working graveyards, and you know, when you work graveyard shifts, you're working all night and a couple extra hours in the morning, and then you have to go home and like go straight to bed because you're so darn tired. But since I worked 5 nights straight this past week, and this is my last night off for this week, and then I go back to work tomorrow night. But because of this little fork in the road that I had, again, I'm not getting into details, but I needed to have something taken care of that required me to not have to work for a couple of days. So, thankfully, my boss likes me. So, and he's not the kind of boss who, you know, likes to ask too many questions, so that works out really good for me. But anyway, so I'll do a couple more rows with you guys so you guys can, you know, continue to understand how this exactly works. But I'm going to slide these red beads out of the way since I don't need them. I'll slide the little baggie out of the way. So I need 14 of the black beads. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And sorry for the camera moving, I might have bumped it. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And again, I'm going to double check my count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, I got 14. I'm going to slide them all the way down my thread, like so. And then I'm going to pull a bead down and then go back through the other 13. And then I'm going to go back up through the initial position. If I can get the needle to cooperate. Again, sorry for bumping the camera, guys. It's right in front of my head because of how I have it situated, but like I said, new angle, trying something different. Because I kind of have my larger tripod packed away, and I don't have a lot of room on my desk right now. And this is a desk I'm unfortunately leaving, but that's because I don't have another spot for it at my grandmother's. There we go. I think I got it right. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, since I pulled those beads down a little further than what I wanted them to, I'm going to go ahead and just slide them back up. And then I can hold them down while I pull the rest of the thread through. There. Then I can just keep pulling everything tight until that thread is just nice and snug. And there's your next row right there. And then to continue on the next one, we do the same thing we've been doing. Now granted, the next stitch I'm going through has a hole directly behind it. I'm trying to bypass it so I don't go clear through to the very back. Because what I'm also doing is going behind the black stitch threads that I did to attach the beadwork to the leather itself. Sorry guys, I don't mean to go off camera so much. That's what happens when you're trying out new camera angles. Okay, so I'll do this one last row with you guys, and then I'll let you continue on your own. There, maybe that'll help. So now I need 15 beads. I'm trying to spread these out some so I can find the smaller-ish ones. So I try to keep a consistent bead size if I possibly can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Almost went to 16. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. Okay, and then I'll slide those all the way down to the edge of the project, pull a bead down, go through the other 14, try and go back up through the original section, and pull the threads tight. And there you go. That's how you do the fringing, guys. Now later on I will show you how to attach one of these onto the fringe as well as everything else, because you can technically consider this to be a bead. It's just a really extra long one, but what I do is I do the amount of beads and then attach this onto it. It just makes it a lot easier counting wise for me. So, but at the end of this video I'll post a picture of the before version of this project, and then, you know, we'll just kind of progress along as everything goes, and then at the end of the video series I'll just do like a picture video of how everything has changed since I started working on this project. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you have any questions, comments, ideas, just leave them at the bottom of the comments and description box. Please like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, you guys have a good day. Take it easy. Thanks for joining.